HO Talk Show.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. In case you didn't know what that man say, community work is still the best work. That's right.
Ooh-wee.
I am HO in the booth.
Oh no, you gonna turn up for me. Yeah, ain't no I'm gonna get tears up in here.
That's a fact. I'm here.
Y'all know what the man say.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you know, you can be anywhere in the world, but you are here with us, family, and we for sure appreciate it. You got Sir Charles.
Oh, I'm supposed to say mine.
Miss Max ain't here, so you don't
okay. I'm number third. Okay. Do it one more time. Do it one more time.
I am HO Talk Show, Sir Charles.
This is Razor.
In the booth, in the building one more again. And yeah, thank y'all for joining us. Highly appreciate it. And we're gonna do what we do, entertain. And as I said, you know, to kick this show off, once again, we want to shout out everybody that supports 101 Jams, including that Jefferson School Foundation and the partnership to where we are trying to continue to inform the community of the great resources that they have over there. And that is one of the reasons why our good brother is back with us one more time. And for those who haven't been, you know, like living under a rock, you know, that tag catchphrase that I said is from none other than the good brother Martez Tober from over at the Fountain Fund. Brother Taz, what's good?
What up, though? Yeah. We here.
Energy.
It's good to see you brothers again. It's been, 4 months since the last time I checked in and locked in with you guys. So a lot is happening. Since then, in our country and our community and in our personal and professional lives. So I'm happy to tap in with you guys and being back, you know what I mean, on the open mic, talking real talk with my brothers, you know what I mean? Ain't nothing like being amongst your brothers, you know. Shout out to the Sister Maxes on her way in, but it's nothing like having that brother and that bond, you know what I mean, with you two guys. So I'm happy to be here. And community work
is still the best work.
And we out here working.
Out here working, bro. You know, so we're gonna get people, you know, more familiar, you know, with the work that you do. For those men I know, but for those who are familiar with the name, with the brand, we want to give them updates on what you have going on right now that's new and what you got coming up. But first, let's kick it off with this, because as you just said, the partnership, the relationships are so important. And for we three black men, as I heard you and Razor saying a few minutes ago before we came on air, it's like, you know, y'all got history.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like,
we go back.
And as you said,
that's my man, we go back.
And as you said, for us to be sitting here right now, just that alone speaks volumes.
Huge,
right?
Huge.
So when we think about history, man, and we think about, you know, for those that don't know, the former black school, which is now the Jefferson School City Center, is ran by a black foundation. And the resources in that school are meant to particularly help and aid and be of service for our community, right? Particularly community of color, but it's for the whole city, it's for the whole area, right? But particularly it's something that we can benefit from. So tell us what does that mean? You know, Fountain Fund, you growing, you like raking in the dough, you know, like for your people. But so, you know, you could possibly be anywhere. What does it mean to you to be in the Jefferson School?
First of all, let me just start with the historical value of having something like a centerpiece like the Jefferson School right there in the middle of the heart of the city. So that right there in itself, that's still remaining true after everything we know about Charlottesville and Vinegar Hill and everything that happened to that community. So but still be a staple. That's one thing. So that's the resilience just of the school and of the people that's around it that's still supporting it. But for me personally, we can get to the Fountain Fund in a second, but for me personally, man, and Razor know more about this than you, Charles, but walking through them doors, bro, it's, man, y'all got me here. Y'all right?
So we going there. That's right.
It's like walking in the doors. It's like me transforming back 100 years, man. It's like I can feel my ancestors. I can feel, you know, the vibe. I can see the pictures. It's like they speak to me, man. The historical value that's in those steps and those seats that's still there originally, that's still there. And I even have clients that come see me, you know, older clients that's over 50, and they talk about, like, you know, I used to go to school in this school, I used to sit right there, right outside your office, and to hear that, oh man. So it's something for me to be in that building, to exude, you know, what our ancestors and, you know, and our brothers and sisters went through, to be in that building now, giving our resources back to the same community, right? So to me, it's a testament of the time, resilience, and our community and our people, man, and our culture. So shout out to everybody that's a part of it. Shout out to the Heritage Center. Shout out to the Jefferson School. Shout out to Kim. and everything she's doing right there to bring that out there to the public, man, to let people know, you know, it's for you, it's about you. Come in, tap in, come check out the resources, you know, come check out the Park and Rec side, you know, the Carver side. Just come get a feel for it. Come check out some Pearl Alley, you know, just come walk through, you know what I mean, and see the history and see the people and feel the vibe and feel the energy, because that's what I get out of every day, and to do something to me.
Ted, let me answer that real quick.
Real talk.
Like Ted said, come walk through. But I'm going to tell you, when I had my transformation, Charles, I was fortunate enough to be not only a client of the Fountain Fund, but becoming staff member, right? Okay. So one day I was, I needed a break. I was taking some stuff down. I was working with that great organization that Tez has. He's going to tell you about it, where he brings resources from all over the city in one particular spot. But I sat down in one of the chairs right in front of the Fountain Fund. And it's a certain time of day. We happened to take pictures there when we did the minute distinction, that the light comes through those windows, right? And when you sit in that, when you sit in those chairs that your grandparents and your great grandparents sat in, and there's nothing going on around you, I declare you feel the spirits and the power of the people that came before. Even though I'm not from here, I felt like my family was standing next to me while I was sitting there.
We all connected down the line.
Yeah,
that's beautiful though. Now, Tez, the population that you particularly serve with the Fountain Fund, conversation that Razor and I have a lot, and part of what we're trying to do with sort of the re-imaging or rebranding, if you will, of the Jefferson School, is that some folks have this idea that like there's certain activities there at the school that is only for certain folks, or that it's like, you know, like whether you want to call it highbrow or whatever the case is. Like, but sometimes, and I get that there's different entities there at the school and everybody serves their own purpose. But I'm curious, you know, population that you work with, if that conversation comes up, or like, how do you communicate, you know, the importance of that space and that building, you know, to know like, hey man, these resources is for everybody.
Absolutely. And that's key and that's crucial. I'm about all people. I'm about the humanitarian, of that aspect of it. Something that me and Razor talk about all the time is bringing the human element back, right? And we represent all diverse backgrounds at the Fountain Fund. So I got white clients, black clients, Indian clients, you know, Asian clients. I got clients of all different types of descents and backgrounds and cultures, because it's one common denominator, and that's we all share a past. You know what I'm saying? We all got a record. So that's our common thread. That's our common feel. And that's what we really try to be relatable and adaptable because of that. You know, that's what we kind of, you know, that's what we all have in common. So we lead with that at the Fountain Fund. And that's why we hire individuals like when we did Razor and different other markets, that individuals that come from this background of this lived experience. So we know how to best talk to, engage with, and show respect and dignity to each and every person that walk through that doors. And it's all types of walks of life that walk through my doors every day, sir. So we about inclusivity and diversity at the Fountain Fund and at the Jefferson School. Let's just be real about it.
And Joe, also tagging on to what Ted said, at the Fountain Fund, one thing that I want everybody to know is that when you walk through those doors, we all have that common thread, like Ted said, of being incarcerated or having system impacted. But the thing of it is, what you were is not who you're going to become. You know, the first thing that Ted taught me was, where is the elevation? You know what I'm saying? Which was crucial for me to understand, because if you give a person resources and you haven't given them the tools to handle it, their life does not get better. But if you bring them in, you teach them financial resources, you teach them how to interact with other people, you bring them in when we have client communication days, and you learn the staff is part of your family. And then the elevation that you have, be it driver's license, be it housing, be it employment. Tez has and the Fountain Fund has so many partners and resources that they can tap into. They literally embody everything that the Jefferson is about.
That's the fact. I ain't gotta say nothing no more, Charles.
I mean,
hey, look,
that was my thing. That's how we hit them.
He's still on the payroll.
It sounds like it, right?
But we are sitting here with none other than Martez Tober. So, Fountain Fund, y'all provide low interest loans and financial coaching to formerly incarcerated people, help them build credit and achieve their self-determined goals. You know, and I know that's just a brief statement. You know, like an intro.
That's a lot right there, right?
That's a lot right there, man. So, But how would you elaborate on that? Because, keep in mind that, as I'm sure folks have seen the logo, they've heard the name, but for those who may not be familiar with the inner workings, before we go into what you got going on, just give us a brief sort of elaboration on that mission statement.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. So it's definitely way more than just that, but we definitely got to lead with that. So, we're a local grassroots organization started right here in our backyard, Found Fun.
That's now national.
National now. 5 other markets, 5 other markets. And as being the national director, that's kind of my job, is to make sure we got implementation, educational, and make sure everything is set up correctly in those markets. So now we're in Richmond, Virginia. So check us out in the 804. We're in New Orleans, and we just went to Philly. And this year, Boston. So now, man, access to capital, it's something that's needed for that reentry population, not just in our backyard, but in a lot of other communities all across this country. So strategically, we're going to try to go to a different city each year, and we're going to amplify, the Found Fun voices in other markets and other cities. And that's where my job comes in the next couple of years. I will be doing a lot of engagements, community engagements, a lot of TED Talks, a lot of conferences, a lot of college appearances, because I want to amplify and really put out there verbal gymnastics, if you will, of what the Found Fun do, because there is nothing like us anywhere in this country. And we look, not even in the world. Specifically, independently, and exclusively, our client bases are people that's been system impacted. Nobody else is really doing that in the way that we're doing it. Have brothers and sisters like ourselves leading the way in all of our markets. So it's something to just go to a bank, but it's something to be treated with respect and dignity when you go to a lender, right? And that's what we do, and that's what we breed. Because let's be real, Charles and Razor, it's a lot of predatory lenders and lending that's going on in our communities, man. And there's a lot of folks that's preying on folks doing these hardships and hard times. So when folks need that access to capital or that money, let's just be real. They gotta do what they gotta do and hustle for it, right? You gotta go to pawn shops, you know what I mean? You gotta go to payday loans, title loans. And some folks go back to the streets. And these are our only options that we have to generate the money that we need to pay back these fines and fees, these DMVs, these core costs, right? So that's where the Found Fund came in at, right? Because we want to let folks know that we want to be here to support them and represent them in these times of struggles and change, right? Because we know what it looks like, and we know how hard it is because we have lived it. Just like Razor talked to, we come from this population. He know me from sitting in the barber chair in Greene County, early in the 2000s to now being right here now doing what we're doing. That's why it's so monumental to be up here rubbing shoulder to shoulders with you brothers, man, because let's just be real. This is something that the masses probably wouldn't want us to have. Let's just be real, but we're here anyway, right? Because it's proven that we're resilient. And when I mean by resilient, our culture, it's nothing you can do to us that's already been done. And we still going to show up and pop up and show out.
Hey, Charles, the only thing I gotta, as Ted said, that it took me back. The only thing that's different about me and Ted is the atmosphere around us. Okay. So it's still the same two people. Instead of me being behind him cutting his hair, now I'm sitting next to him. And he brought me into the Found Fun. You know what I'm saying? Right. He started training me before I knew he was training me to be at the Found Fun. You know what I'm saying? So we went through the Found Fun. I learned a lot. And then when it was time for me to take and utilize what I was given and go back to my business and become a better businessman, then it was my job to come back and give back in any way that I could. Right. You know what I'm saying?
That's my brother.
Yeah. Man. So when he ever need me, I'm there. So
and look, remember our first year, Razor. Remember the Wall Street Journal came to us.
Stop playing.
Listen,
wait a minute. Do you understand what you just said? Two people who've been system impacted.
Facts.
The Wall Street Journal came down, followed us around, and wrote us a story about it. I know people as millionaires that never been in Wall Street Journal.
That's a fact. Check it out, 2020 Halloween edition. And it's raised on the cover of it, man. But it's things like that. Who would have ever thought, Charles? Yeah. You know what I mean? But it's written and it's pre-written. You know what I mean? So we just living it in our purpose. That's what's a blessing to be here, man.
Yeah, man. And so that that reform, that criminal justice reform, and all the aid that you provide, something that's consistent across communities, right? Like I heard you mention New Orleans, Richmond, so on and so forth.
Places where high recidivism is.
Yeah. So what I'm curious about is what if there was any pushback, or maybe more importantly, lessons learned from starting in Charlottesville, but then going to a larger metropolitan area, and to a certain extent, telling them how to handle a situation. Like, what were the lessons learned by working with larger areas than where you're coming from?
Oh, absolutely. Coming from where we come from here in Charlottesville, I mean, we know here, and then there's things in other markets that we don't know. That's why we hire within that market. All of our site directors are from that market. So we don't act like we know what we know, because we know what we don't know, right? But these are individuals that do know what the need is in our market. So that's why we exclusively, aggressively go out there trying to hire our director, because we want folks to understand this is where we come from here in Charlottesville. This is our secret sauce, and we want this to be portrayed in all of our markets. But we know it's going to be different because each market is different. So you're right, Charles. Like, we have our pain points, and we went through it. That's why we do it in a partnership. We don't just go there and put a whole brick and mortar in our locations. We do it in partnership, because we realize here in Charlottesville, and shout out to the One Stop Shop. We can talk about that in a second. 2-year anniversary week. But we realized early on that it's not about just giving money away. Anybody can give somebody money, right? That didn't stop me from, let's just talk about me for a second. I went to prison 3 different times. And that didn't stop me from going back when I came home. My brother, my family, my neighborhood, they gave me all types of things, right, that they thought that I needed to be successful. And I still wind up recidivism and going back to prison. So I realized and learned early on, which is a lot of folks out here that's listening right now have learned, it's more than just money. You need that support. You need that consistency, and you need wraparound holistic services, because folks come in for one thing, but they're dealing with 15 other things right behind their football, right? And they're going to posture in front of me and be like, Tez, I'm trying to get my license, and I'm trying to get a vehicle, I'm trying to get my business started, but it's really other issues going on that they're not really telling me until we really get down to the weeds of what it is that's going on with you, right?
He called it that. Well, I got to go for it. He called it pulling. Tez got this thing where he pull on that heartstring. Right? And he pulls on the heartstrings so that you can open up, so he can show you where you really need the help at, instead of putting a Band-Aid on what you think is going to solve the problem. We get at the Fountain Fund, we get down to the root. So it's very important when the people first come through the door, it's not even about the money, it's about the person. Right. And going back to what you said, Charlottesville, you got to realize we're built different around here. We had 2017, and then we had COVID. Fountain Fund took off in the midst of COVID. When other places were not working, Tez was inside that building, making calls, reaching out to people when everybody else was sitting around getting free money.
Shout out to Justice Group, keeping them doors open.
Keeping the doors open. Now, in that, we have to realize that, in my opinion, my humble opinion, God placed everything where it needed to be so that it could branch out. You know what I'm saying? The roots of despair were everywhere. But the growth from the roots came out here in Charlottesville, in the Fountain Fund and the Jefferson.
That boy preaching it.
Hey, man, listen. I know it's Sunday, but oh boy. But he's right. When folks come see me, we talk about everything besides a loan. We don't get to the loans at the end of the conversation. That's right. I talk to them and see how you doing today. Did you eat today? Because I keep food, I keep things, I keep drinks. I never know what my client is going through. I never know what the intake is going through. So I'll break down those barriers early on in our conversation, Charles, because it's important to get to the root of what their reason why they come to see me. And not just a high level what the loan request is, but the root of why you're there and the other things that's happening that's challenging that's around you. So we talk about all different types of things before we get to the product. And then we get to the product. We didn't already establish a relationship, a mutuality, and an understanding that we in this together. Right. I'm not doing this, we're doing this together. Right, you're gonna have to throw the ball, but you got to score that touchdown, and you got to be empowered to say, "I did this." So I established that early on, kind of what Razor was saying first, what we talk about, and then we get into how I can be able to support you in your community and your family, right? And that's one of the things that we do, and that's what makes, I think, the Fountain Fund successful as a micro lender than a lot of other traditional lenders that's out there, because we care. We're a bank, but we're a bank with a heart. Let's just be real.
We used to tell them welcome to the family as soon as they sign the contracts. We take a picture of them and we tell them welcome to the family. And then when they pay off their loan, we take a picture of them and we highlight them again. There you go. You know what I'm saying? So it's totally different.
So that holistic approach, I heard you mention holistic. And I feel like across the board, when it comes to particularly organizations that our community, has, the importance of that holistic approach. So, I'm also curious some of your methodology behind like how you work with different service industries or different groups in order to provide all of the needs for your client. Because so many times, like to our dismay, if one group falls short in a particular area, we don't always think holistically when it comes to us as a community. Sometimes we be like, oh, look, but y'all ain't doing this, but you ain't doing this. Instead of realizing that as a community, one stop, I know you do one-stop shop, but but when it comes to people, it ain't one-stop shopping. It's like we need to work together, to create a holistic approach. So,
tell them about the gun line, Bo.
Hey, listen, let me just be real. And I come from my personal experiences. So it means a lot to me. That's why I'm so passionate about the initiatives and programs that's been implemented around me or that I facilitate. Because I remember And Razor can talk about this because I can talk about this in that barber chair. Bro, living in Greene County, no bus line. I didn't have a driver's license, and trying to make my PO appointments was a lot. And I got violated, Charles, 7 times of being late, missing appointments because I couldn't get the transportation that I needed. Right. And I almost did 2 years. I wound up doing 19 months off those 7 violations. So I sat in that cell thinking, like, how the hell did I get here for one? And if I ever get out, and if I ever put myself in a position of opportunity, how can I help other brothers and sisters not go through this? So I conjured up and created a one-stop shop, not even knowing what the hell what it was going to be about. But I wanted to put things in one room, in one building. And now, 7 years later, you know, this is what we've been doing. 5 years later, this is what we've been doing here in our community, man. And now I'm trying to customize this and put this in all of our other markets. Because what we have learned, it works. Like I said, folks come see us. It's for the loan product, right? It could be for driver's license. It could be for first month's rent deposit. It could be for all these different number of things. But they're dealing with childcare, right? They're dealing with other issues that's happening at home. Now I can connect them to the different resources that we have. Like you spoke of. It started 2 years ago, right outside probation and parole in the hot sun. Right, but now we up to 67 service providers, all in one area. Shout out to the Jefferson School again, because I host these things right here at the Carver Rec. The next one is September 12th from 12 to 3. Check us out. We got, oh man, look, now I'm about to get right into my promo. Yeah, you got it. So because it's our 2-year anniversary this year, we're trying to do all our one-stops with a bang. So I got City of Promise bringing their kids through because I want these young folks to see what nonprofit looks like. Because me personally, I never knew the hell a nonprofit was until I got in this space. So I want these young folks to understand you don't always got to go to college. You don't always got to take a trade. You don't always got to do other things. There's so many options for folks out here. And it looks just like you. These are individuals that's doing this work in your community that looks just like you. And that's important for them to see.
So you said September 13th?
September 12th.
12th at Jefferson School. What time?
12 to 3.
All right, I'm going to put that down. All right.
Hey, Chell, wait a minute, hold on. Let me add this. One of the most beautiful things that he said it, but I don't think y'all got it, right? When you come and sit there and talk to him at the Fountain Fund, right? And he talked to you about what you need. One of the most beautiful things I would see is when we were helping people get their license and we realized that child support was holding them up. Now, when they go satisfy their debt with child support and get on a payment program, and now they're going through the classes that they need for the driver, you've taken care of 2 things in once. All you were worried about was the driver's license in your hand. But actually, now you're doing things that's going to benefit your life.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So now you'll see pride in a person's face when they say, man, look, I made my last payment. Or here go my paperwork. Now I can go get my license. You know what I'm saying? So these are things that people need that they don't know that they need.
Yeah.
You know? So, my bad. It's good.
No, bro, you're doing it. You're doing it. And you know why it's important to have those wraparound services. Yeah. And now at the One Stop, 2 years running, we're going to do a lot of different things. Now we got DMV showing out. I'm doing barbershop free haircuts for folks. So shout out to JJ's Barbershop for donating one of their barbers at the next One Stop. So we'll be cutting kids' heads and young adults' heads to anybody that's trying to go to an interview or just need they line up, tighten up. So we're going to have a lot of different things over the next coming months at the One Stops coming up. So it's huge for us. Now we have an app now. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. Yeah. And like I said, we're going to customize this to all the other markets. Because let's just be real. Every market needs something like this in our area. I really, at the end of the day, I want a resource hub here. That's ultimately my goal, is have my own brick and mortar where I have all these services come through in and out. It's coming. It's coming. But I had to build it up first, right, for them to understand what's really going on in our community and the need. So now that's what we're going to do with each of our other expansion markets, is take this to each Fountain Fund market now, because it's crucial out there in these other markets. Housing is crucial, employment is crucial, educational is crucial, and entrepreneurship. A lot of men and women are coming home, Charles. They don't want to work at Jiffy Lube, right? Like I did. They don't want to work at Faulkner Construction, like I did. They want to start their own, and they want to get out there to it. They might get a job just to support that business or support their bills, but ultimately they want generational wealth. They want a piece of that pie that everybody's been talking about and everybody's been promoting. So now I could be to help and facilitate that, and through the Fountain Fund to give them entrepreneurial loans and connect them to CIC over there, the good folks over there. Shout out to Wanda, Shannon, and everybody else over there at CIC to get them through their entrepreneur workshop and then get the access to capital at the end. Now they can be business owners in our community, man. That's what it's all about, is building back better. Like Charles, like Razor said, they might have came through that door with a charge, but that didn't define who they were.
And the thing is, the client partners that have came before me, after me, the new people coming in have a proof of concept.
right?
Which also turns into mentorship through the businesses. You know what I'm saying? So when you're writing out your business plan and Mr. Yates is going through that, he's going to, by the time you're finished, you're left with something that even if you expanded all the loans that you could at the Fountain Fund, you have something that you could take to these predominantly white institutions for banking. You have a legitimate good process in your hand. Okay. You have, if Tez has sent you to like CIC, now you went to business school. These are things that, you know, coming from a system impacted background, you're not even knowing really exists, or much less how to tie them in together. And Fountain Fund does a good job of facilitating and laying out the process. All you got to do is take the steps. You got to take the first step. You got to walk through the door.
And something I'm hearing y'all talk about is broken systems, and like so the wraparound services makes total sense. And I'm hoping that the brother Tez, because I know he's a forward thinker. But
and he don't know how to stop.
I can't help, but as I think I alluded to earlier, I can't help but think about like how that same concept could be like utilized across the board. When it comes to our organizations, like I think about for one how we have like different mentoring groups, right? But our fellas have, everybody has their individual story, or everybody has like their individual approach, which then, impacts the youth. The population of youth that they serve, right? So then, so I'm thinking about that. Like, so what if you had these organizations that kind of cover different aspects of, of what our young people are going through? They in one space, so when you see where one drops off, you got the other one right there that can pick it up, And Tez, and besides that, I want your opinion on. We had the chief of police in, and when we got into the gun talk and about how he has a zero tolerance, and then I posed the question about. Well, there's some kids that I've spoken with, they not in a gang, no intention to be in a gang, no intention to rob or steal, or do any damage to anybody, but they may carry a weapon because they don't feel safe.
I did.
And they feel like they can carry it just for protection. So I was like, so how can we have a zero tolerance policy instead when the situation should be looked at holistically? And I understood what he was saying, even though I feel like there should be another way around it, where he was like, we're the police, we do our job. And he compared it to being a goalkeeper. There's other people on the field. There's other people on the team. Right. If you get to the goalkeeper has one job to do. So when I think about wraparound service and that holistic approach, right, I think about our young people and that, and like how we have broken systems.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? Like, so I'm just, both of y'all, I'm just curious about y'all take and how we know we have these broken systems and we know things that need to be done. And everybody has a job to do, whether we like it or not. We don't want to see young brothers getting locked up or whatnot, but we don't want the police to do their job. So then, like, how do we fix some of these broken systems before our young people get into the hands of law enforcement?
You want to go first, David?
Man, I can talk about this all day, Charles.
I know you can.
Touched on a hell of a topic. So I deal with the youth right now. I mentor kids. I go to Blue Ridge Juvenile Detention Center. We just had our first family cookout, at the Blue Ridge Detention Center, which was huge. To have them, these kids to be kids again, have them smile again. But it's deeper than just that, Charles. Like, it's deeper than just locking them up. And I understand the chief come from a different type of, vantage point and viewpoint that he has to protect his community because that's what he served and that's what he pledged to do. I get that, but it's deeper than that. Right. And we got to remember, we're in Virginia. Yeah. Well, as the individual's rights. I know individuals that have 13-year-old sons with rifles. Never had a felony, never had a misdemeanor, but he's teaching his son protection. He's teaching his son hunting. So if we're going to talk about this conversation, we got to talk about the whole conversation of folks. Then we got to bring in technology. Look what's going on in our kids' lives, from that device on their hand to that game system. These kids know everything about the SIG and the AR and the customized lens and the scopes and custom scopes because of these games. I remember having GoldenEye. I remember playing, James Bond 007 back in the day. I knew everything about that game because I was so intrigued with that, right? And now, just imagine now, 20 years later, 25 years later, these kids are way more advanced. And they're not trying to get a gun. They don't even want to get a gun. This is something that's projected to them every day, all day, and music and technology and video games and right outside of their door. So if you want to look at the like I said, look at everything, you have to look at everything, not just one thing the individual's doing. And I'm working with UVA literally right now on gun prevention for the youth. And we're doing a qualitative study, and I got 14 of my clients are already doing interviews of UVA. Shout out to Professor Andy Block, who's leading the study with individuals, interns, and lawmakers, just try to get a better understanding. We're going to take this report to legislators, because I understand what the chief is coming in to do and trying to do in our community, because there's a lot of things that's been happening in our community, and he has to protect, the citizens and the residents. I get that, right? But it's deeper than that, Chief. You know what I mean? And like I said, come holler at me, come talk to me. I'm gonna see you next week anyway, West Haven Day. So pull up on me, man. There's some things that we're working on and talking about right now, as far as the youth and gun prevention that's going on literally right now. And shout out to UVA for really stepping in and taking the lead on this too.
Hey, Charles, the small thing I want to add to what Ted says is that gun prevention, Second Amendment, all that, right? Really wasn't made for us. You know what I'm saying? So when you talk about a gun and you look at guns are racism, so to speak, because if I'm talking about a rifle, if I'm talking about hunting, if I'm talking about, there is no age requirement. Whenever I feel, if I'm Caucasian, that my child is ready to go in the woods and experience and shoot granddaddy's gun and it was passed on, it's absolutely fine, right? But when we talk about guns, when it comes to African Americans, we tend to start thinking about pistols. We start thinking of how they're going to hold them correct. Like, that's a joke that non-black people make, that black people don't know how to handle firearms, right? So, and then when I go to places and I own about 17 guns, right? Because I'm a country boy, and people forget that. So I grew up with guns. But when it comes to, like, say, here in Charlottesville, and I asked some of the children that work for me over the past couple of years, how do you feel if you see a white person with a gun? That's fine. How do you feel if you see a black person with a gun? I want to know why they got it. But the Second Amendment is supposed to go for everybody, right? So when you start talking about classes and things of that nature, it doesn't matter what you do. It matters the perception that people have when you with a gun. And that's why I believe so many African Americans have gotten killed so fast by police, because they feel like you're not supposed to have the firearm, as opposed to when we see videos of our other counterparts. Not that they haven't killed white people before, I'm not saying that, but it's more, hey, calm down. Hey, is everything okay? Is it a mental health thing? Let's get you some help. Just stay calm for a second. Let's hear. Instead of guns drawn everywhere and weapons of mass destruction, and we had to put down somebody that was out here going to potentially harm the community. Yeah. And don't forget, because he got in trouble when he was 10 years old. They took up your back, right? No, that's true. You know what I'm saying?
Don't forget, they put us down whether we got a weapon or not.
Yeah, absolutely. So if they think that you have a firearm, you automatically become a threat. Yeah. It doesn't have anything to do with your Second Amendment. And I don't think even the people that are on our side that don't look like us actually understand that dynamic.
Yeah, for sure.
Bottom line, I think it's needing more education, period, around just guns and toting guns, carrying guns. Me and Razor actually attended a class together on safety. Shout out Steve King. When I got my gun race last year, like, I wanted to be smart with those and be educated with those. So it's a lot of stuff that's being, let's just be real, that's been put in front of us. Like Razor said, the shootings, things like that. But there's a lot of, black, organizations out there who teach these things, right? Who teach education, right? And they go around carrying them and their guns just so folks can see, like, listen, it's not just for our counterparts. This is for us to protect ourselves. But that's not, you don't see that a lot on internet or on the news.
Check out Black Rambo.
I know. Shout out to my boy. That's my guy on YouTube. But he promotes, and there's a lot of the brothers that he even brought in to his network so he can promote more. Because when they see a black man, let's just be real, they see a black man with a gun, it's already prejudged. Because of the imagery, right? Because of what's been put out there in the media.
Everybody ain't no brown.
Everybody ain't out here trying to do something to you. I'm just trying to protect me and mine at the end of the day, and uphold the right that is given to me in the great state of Virginia. So no, it's just education got to be put out there to these young folks, and I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to do my small part. That's why I said this is a huge, great conversation, man. But it gets deep.
I think gun safety need to be given in middle school, personally, right? Because if you're old enough to play these games that every gun, you killing people, you running around, you know what I'm saying? These games are very graphic.
Very.
So if your child can play that game without even looking at the control and know what he needs to do to take a life on that game, exactly. it needs to be taught in middle school
awareness
to actually let them see and hear what that gun sounds like, not through the headphones that you have on there, but to actually feel out there, seeing them shoot something at the shooting range.
Mm-hmm. And then, by the way, we were going to talk about it in a later show, but definitely RP Sonya Massey.
Yeah.
Since we were talking about
brother,
balance with the police, so definitely got to say her name.
Brother.
But Tez, before we let you go though, what's going on right about now with the Fountain Fund? Like what y'all got coming up?
Man,
You already mentioned the one-stop shop.
The one-stop shop's up and running. Like I said, come check us out September 12th, 12 to 3. We got DMV that will be there. We have rent relief, utility relief for Charlottesville residents. Come get your bills paid. We got acupuncture, we got mental health, we got massages, we got PVCC, we got a decarceration department. Come get your rights back and learn how to get your rights back by free lawyers. Then we got common ground, like CIC, like insurance, because a lot of folks when we pass away, I see a lot of GoFundMe's. I see a lot of folks running to churches.
A lot of T-shirts.
Yep, and a lot of T-shirts and fish dinners being made. But now we got my homegirl, Letitia Jones, and her husband out there showing folks that if you can get in front of it, get some insurance that's affordable based off your income, you can be able to now bury your loved ones in a respectable way. So these are things like this that I'm adding on to the One Stop, because the One Stop is growing and going, and we're such a small network. So I definitely want to put that out there. Check us out on Facebook, check us out on Instagram, and check our website out, onestopcville.org. But deeper than that, man, the youth. Let's get back to the youth again. Shout out to Jefferson School again. Shout out to Parks and Rec and the Carver Rec. I partner with Nancy Burney from the Parks and Rec at the Carver, and now we're doing teen night. So bring your teens out there. We had a successful one 2 weekends ago. It was dope, man, to see the kids out there having a good old time, bro. So we're doing another one August 3rd from 7 to 10, and I'm looking for volunteers and chaperones. Come out there and show up and show out. Shout out to Victoria Maxey, who will be there, Kalila, because we want to try to have a boutique for the young ladies, right? Nice. So they can come in and learn etiquette, learn how to, put dresses on, walk, different makeup tips, and things that they want to teach to these young girls, right? So we're gonna have that set up, because in the fall we want to put on, and I'm talking early on, but this thing is supposed to know, but you guys get the exclusive. Hey. We're gonna put on a prom or like a homecoming for the youth, and we're gonna donate all of this stuff that the young ladies will be trying on and adding to their portfolio, so they can come on back and come to the fall prom. So this is going to be some things that we're trying to do to get these kids more active, and not even just active, be anxious and look forward to something else that's coming down the pipe. So that's one of the things that we're doing. It's one of the things I'm proud of. Shout out to everybody that's a part of it. Denise Johnson, Yahuru, Courtney Commander, got a lot of other folks that's chipping in, helping out with these youth, man, and giving them what they need. Because let's just be real. Like growing up here, when I moved here from Detroit, man, we had a lot of stuff to do as a youngin', and there's not too much for them to do now. So we're trying to provide that like we were talking earlier, that space, and not even a space, a safe space. So come on and chaperone, come on and volunteer, come on and check to see what we got going on for these kids. And it's not just a one and done. We're going to do this all throughout the year and in the coming years, man, because they matter, and they're the ones that's next up.
Yes, indeed. Now, folks that want to sign up or volunteer, they go to the website, or would there be a flyer later? Yeah,
we got the flyer out there right now. Check out the flyer right now. But you can just hit me up, Maine to Madison, and on Facebook, Maine to Madison on Instagram. Just check me out, man. Y'all know where I'm at. Y'all know how to get in touch with me. If you want to volunteer, man, that's what it's all about. And now I'm creating a young adult mentoring program as well. And I already got 4 participants a part of that as well. So, it's not just about mentoring young kids. It's young adults. Just because somebody's 40 years old, 35 years old,
that don't mean nothing.
That don't mean they got it all, or even think because I'm an adult that I know it all, right? So that's what I do. And I'm not trying to be a preacher or anything like that. I'm just
sound like you're preaching. Never told me.
I know. I'm just helping with navigation, development, giving people the resources they need so they can be the best that they can be. And it's growing and growing now. Like I said, I got 4 individuals, but I'm looking for more. So anybody else that's a young adult that's looking for that navigation and looking for some support, that's what I'm here to do, and that's what I'm all about, man.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, man, because that's something that's actually potentially the most at-risk population.
Yeah.
Because if you think about kids are sort of protected for the most part. You know what I mean? Like you got public school, just take care of you a little bit, you know what I mean, what have you. But once you finish and you're in that young adult space, and if you don't have guidance, if you don't have a plan or vision, I mean, that's when you really can get lost.
I don't even think they protect you.
So I salute you.
Yeah. I don't even think they protect you.
I mean, but you know what I'm saying? I'm saying I feel like there's more resource. I think to his point, there's more resource, like for the kids, for the youth, right? Because you're a minor. versus once you're a young adult, you on your own, bro.
I still have to give a little bit of pushback.
Yeah, they need more too, Charles. Real talk. And I've been talking, not to cut you off,
No.
But bro, like they need, because all right, again, I hate to even bring up Detroit, but in Detroit we had a resource hub in our middle school, high schools, and elementary schools.
Okay.
Like social services. Like when folks had issues going on at home, they didn't have to go anywhere else. Everything was right there embedded in the schools. And it was very successful. And it's still going on to this day in Michigan and a lot of the schools. So if we could bring something like this to a CHS, to a Buford Middle School, where they have their own resources right then and there that parents can get connected to, that young adults can get connected to right there on the spot, I think that's going to be a game changer.
You know, the difference is the difference in what you're describing is like when we talk about LA having it, Detroit having it, New York having it, these were places where our people migrated from the South to go for a better living. So therefore, when they needed something, they came together. We're talking about slavery and every oppressive thing started right down the street. I don't care what goes on in America. It started here in Virginia, right? So to unhinge it, the statues is a perfect thing. We had 2017 and people were taking down statues in New Orleans, and Dylan Roof was killing people in church and they're pulling down the flags. It happened everywhere. But guess what? Virginia was like, no, that ain't us. Because everything started here. We got five of the people that had pretty much to do everything in the Constitution. I used to think it was 3, just Orange County, Charlottesville, and over in Harrisonburg. But it's actually 5 people that was in charge of everything oppressive that we knew for the United States.
I feel you.
So to unhinge it here is why it's so difficult. We have the best of intention, but we're up against the biggest mountain because we're up against an ideology that you can't see.
Yeah. And I want to shout out our sister Tanisha too, because like I love the push that she makes when it comes to local Black history. And I feel like every city should do that as well. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like instead of whitewashing it, think of how much more confident you would be as a young Black man if you were told that your history is richer than just slavery.
But think about what you're saying, though, Charles. The history in these other places, like what Tanisha does, I love. But the history in other places is somebody coming to that place to get better. It's not trying to unhinge the foot that was on our neck. The Plymouth Rock was sitting on us. So you're asking us to pick up Plymouth Rock from laying on our stomach. That's what people are doing. Other places had the chance to look at the rock, figure out how to move the rock, and make adjustments. Here, Plymouth Rock is sitting on top of us, our ancestors that passed on to us. That is one of the main reasons why I think it's so difficult for us to collectively come together and support one another. Look how many businesses that are growing here in Charlottesville. Look how many we've lost.
And that's my whole point of like some of us don't find out until way too late of even knowing that, oh, you mean a Black person started that? Oh, we used to own that? You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, think about if we got so young and we talk about Jefferson, right? Like that's part of why we got the Heritage Center.
One thing I didn't even know, the Shenandoah coffee guy.
We
didn't even know about that. Shenandoah coffee, sold to a Black man, right down the corner.
We were yesterday young.
Yesterday young old when we found that out.
But education, something they hid from us for so many years. Like you said, Razor.
They put it in a book.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. But now you got a phone, you got internet. Anything is accessible right now in your hand. So I hear both you guys, but it's no excuses no more.
No, it's no
excuses. And as we're going to wait for these folks to do it, we're going to be steadily waiting. That's why I feel like I'm passionate enough, I'm motivated enough, and I got this ecosystem and network of folks that said, listen, just move out the way. Just let Taz and others do it. And that's what we're doing. We're going to build it for us. We're not going to wait for nobody to build it. Because if they build it, they're going to put their own structures and limitations on it. So let's build it from within, how it needs to be done for our folks. Let's just be real about it. I'm not the type of folk, guys just going to wait around for somebody else to do something. You know my slogan, Razor know my GSD. We get this. Let's just be real about it. And that's the way we move around here. We got to, bro. Because if we wait around for these folks to do it, it's going to be something that's not going to be built for us, and it's something they can just snatch from under our feet at any given time. So that's why I'm about huge promoting what we need to promote for our folks and creating this own, like I said, village, this ecosystem, bringing us all back together again. And shout out to, like I said, the One Stop is just one of many things that's going to be happening this year. I got a Know Your Rights campaign coming up because the 2025 expungement bill is coming up next year. A lot of folks ain't even talking about that. And that's something that's right here that's going to happen. That's going to change the game of Virginia. Folks that got misdemeanors and felonies on their record, next year it's going to wipe out automatically. And then it's going to be certain charges you can be able to go and get done and expunged and cleared off your record that you once couldn't get done, right? So nobody's talking about this, dude. So I got a huge campaign I'm going to do at the end of the year about knowing your rights. And not just knowing your rights, but knowing your rights when you go on court. knowing your rights when you get pulled over. I guarantee you two guys, I know you guys are smart and y'all my brothers, but do y'all know what the saying do if y'all get pulled over?
Do I absolutely so?
Yeah, you better. Not everybody do. I'm just being real. And then do your kids know? Because I want to let folks know, especially young adults that's in college, that's going out there. They don't know what's happening in these other cities that they're going to college to. But if they know their basic rights before they even enter these other markets, they have a good, strong sense of themselves, man, and know how to be empowered by the words and by the law. So, and don't let these officers and other folks out there try to influence what they think the law should be because you don't know it. Yeah, that happens a lot.
Right.
That happens a lot. So education is crucial.
Yeah, shout out to brother Harold Foley and the Expungement Council as well.
Yeah, Big Harold, baby. What's up, Big Harold? Yeah. So they're going to be a part of it too. So it's going to be a lot of us going to be doing this campaign coming up for next year. So tune in. Hopefully you guys have me back when I talk more about that in November time before the new year hit.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. With Tez, man. Thank you for joining us, man. Anything we haven't.
Man, I don't want to go, bro.
You ain't gotta go, but you gotta get out of here.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
We got plenty.
Little's coming up, and Fernando, they're my bros. Again, that's the ecosystem. That's the family. They're my brothers right there, man. Shout out to them. Shout out to Prolific 5 years and what Fernando doing out there, man. Pull up on me too, fellas.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. So we hit on everything though. Or you want to leave your contact?
And there's so much going on. Yeah, hit me up. You can email me if you want to be a volunteer for the One Stop or any other events that's coming up. mtalbert@foundfund.org. We got West Haven Day next week. We got this. We have West Haven Day on August 3rd, and then right after that we have the teen night out. We got skating, basketball. We got Blackjacks going to be on the scene. Shout out to Blackjacks. They're going to be on the scene feeding the kids some meals. They need some hot meals to go home to at night. That's from 7 to 10 at the Carver Recreational Center. Teens night out, 13 and up. Bring your teen night. We're going to have a ball. And
even with the slogan.
Community work is the best work. And what, fellas?
We still work.
Let's go.